Hello and welcome to CIPD Bitesize. In this video, we're going to be looking at AC 3.1 from the 5002 Evidence-Based Practice module. This is AC 3.1, and we need to remind you of the scenario because the scenarios are essential within these particular questions. So you work for Technivara, I'm going to allow you to pause and read the scenario if you've forgotten it or you've got out a bit of a sync. But you work for Technivara, you're being brought in to help introduce more evidence-based practice into the organization. That's what they're looking for you to do. Sue's asked you to do this, so they have a pause, have a read, make sure that you've got it top of your mind when you're thinking about the answer and the question. Right, let's go into the question. Praise. Two different ways Technivara could measure financial and non-financial performance, providing one example for each. You've got 2,900 words to answer task one, 7 questions. So that means you have 414 words to answer this particular question. And this is a chunky question with probably around about 4 action points. So you're appraising 2 different ways that Technivara could measure financial and non-financial performance, providing one example for each. So what I would do if I was you, so if you're appraising something, you're looking at the value of something, you're looking at the quality of something. So again, your references need to be about outcomes, performance, statistics. That's how you appraise the quality of something. So think about one way in which a company could measure both its financial and non-financial performance. Okay? Think about another way a company could measure financial and non-financial performance. Think of an example. Now, you could do 2 different ways at Technivara. Think about your examples within there, think about your stats, think about your data, think about your information, but think about your action points. Right, so I'm going to think about a way you could measure financial and non-financial performance here, and I'm going to give you an example of a non-financial performance here. I'm going to think about another way you could measure financial and non-financial, and I'm going to give you the example of another way. So if you're going to use the example of financial performance on your next one, use an example of non-financial performance, but it needs to benefit both if you want to make it as efficient as possible in terms of your word count. Action point 1, approach 1 for measuring financial and non-financial performance. Example 2 of measuring financial and non-financial performance. So let's think about different ways of financial and non-financial performance. It's probably one of the ways that we need to. So recruitment costs and recruitment turnover. So how could you measure financial and non-financial performance? Turnover of staff, recruitment fees, advertising fees. These are ways to measure financial and non-financial performance. So you've got your turnover rate, which is a non-financial performance measure. Then you've got recruitment fees, which is a financial performance measure. You've got sickness. You've got how long, the number of staff days and the cost of people being off. And you've also got the health of your workforce and the availability percentage of your workforce. So you've got the wellness and a financial cost of that. Think about different ways in which you could interact. Now, how they want you to lay out your work, 3.1 over here, you write your response underneath. And you build out your question that way. Just think about different ways in which the two are connected, because I think if you can connect financial and non-financial within a way, it'll make this question a whole lot easier. I'm giving you a couple of examples. I can't give you any more, but just think about the way things are connected. If it's employee engagement, how do you do this and this? How do you measure financial performance of an engaged employee versus a non-engaged employee? Could you use different bits and stats and data and stuff like that? So that's what we then want you to get into with this. Now, as always, what we quickly show you is we show you our study plan. By all means, pause the video and work this out for yourself in terms of how you do it. This is question 3.1. The verb is, I've completely forgotten this, but appraise. The scenario required is yes. You need to reference Technivara in this. Your word count is 414. Your action point 1 is appraising way 1. Your action point 2 is appraising way 2. Both financial and non-financial with examples, references, case studies, data. You're proving it. Your example of success is a case study or research about something that's happened. that will help you work out this question. That will help you do it. As always, here's an example of a study plan filled out for you so that you've got something to base your answer from moving forward. Now, recommended reading: CIPD Research, Organizational Culture and Performance, CIPD Fact Sheet, Performance Management, CIPD Research, Non-Financial Reporting Review, A Call for Evidence. CIPD love CIPD, so we're going to give you some CIPD references and have a look into those. Now, I think a lot of the time, and this may just be a meeting, I find it harder to think about non-financial metrics and measures and stats and data and stuff like that. And when I look at non-financial information, I can then connect financial information to it. So my suggestion is look at non-financial means and then think, well, what could be the financial benefits of us getting this right? That's how I tend to find and approach these questions. For myself, it makes it a little bit easier when I was doing my answer planning, when I was doing the research for this particular question for people, because that helps sort of me come at it. Now, the other way that we help you come at the question is we give you a fictitious scenario, help you understand potentially the question from a completely different angle that doesn't answer the question, but also helps you come at it from a new angle so that you can understand what the structure of the question is. And for this one, we're making you a football manager. You weren't aware he was the manager. You can look at his little tag that says manager, and football means it's, yeah, anyway. So imagine you're a football team manager. You want to assess your team's performance. Are we doing well? Are we doing badly? So you've got financial performance. So a goal scored, team, goal scored, the more goals the team scores, the better their offensive performance, clean sheets, better defensive performance, league position. And then you've got non-financial performance, which is possession, fair play, team satisfaction. Thinking about the outcomes of the game is your financial performance, and then you've got how the team functions as a cohesive unit as your non-financial performance. That's how it's trying to put it forward as. So your financial performance would be specific metrics and outcomes: goal scored, clean sheets, league position. And your non-financial performance, which may give you an insight into how the team are functioning, is things like possession, fair play, number of yellow cards, fan satisfaction. You can evaluate, based on scores of things, and you can evaluate based on various metrics and stuff like that. So how you approach this question is, I would probably look at your non-financial performance first. I'd look at things like employee satisfaction surveys, and then I would look at things like recruitment costs. I would look at things like employee engagement. I would look at promotions, and then I would look at training and budgets, and retention of staff and training and budget. I would try and make those connections. I would think about a problem that I can get through surveys, retention stats and stuff like that, which aren't directly financial, and then I would try and find a financial anchor to connect the two together. I think that's the best approach for me when I was thinking about this particular question. Absolutely best of luck with this unit. I'm sure you'll do absolutely great, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.